Welcome to the Lead Men podcast. This series, I got my co-host Marcus. We're going to talk a little bit about how to transition into the corporate world. For some of us that want to transition, we may not know how to. We may be a blue-collar worker. We may be coming out of college, or we just may be trying to do something different, right? Trying to figure out if it's something that we'll like. And my friend Marcus right here, what's your job title currently, Marcus?
So I work for Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. I've been there 14 years, and I'm the executive business manager to the vice president.
Okay, and I currently is a field engineer for Heatcraft, and I've been there for about maybe 6 months. So I'm going to go ahead and transition over to Marcus and let him explain a little bit about what it is to transition into the corporate world and some of the things that you may need to know if you're going to go about that route transition. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah. So for me, like I was just saying, I work for Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. I started there in 2009 at the age of 20 years old. So I was working in warehouses and everything else as a teenager leading up to that point. And my wife got me into more corporate America. I didn't even own a collar shirt or suit, really anything before that either.
Right.
So it was a brand new world for me. But I had the drive and the work ethic to get into it. So when I got the opportunity in 2009, hit the ground running. And just to fast forward to now, I've held 7 different positions within that 14-year time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So on average, I've moved around every 2 years to keep learning something new.
Okay.
And I just like trying new things.
Right.
And that's the way I learn. I'm more hands-on. I was never great at school my whole life. Never great at school. But if you physically put me to do something, I'll be great at it.
Okay.
And that's the way I learn. I'm not good at test taking and all that type of stuff. So when I got into the workforce, it was a completely different environment than my school environment that I was taught.
So you more of a person that learn by looking? Is that what you're kind of saying? Like
More hands-on and endure.
Enduring. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up, man. So some of the first things that people deal with, or some of the requirements that people need to be successful in coming into this corporate world. What are those things that you think they need to transition from? So if you're talking to let's start first, talking to a blue collar worker, which is a person who works with their hands, who's just out there on the physical grind, don't have any understanding on sending emails out, structures of emails, just communicating with people, because education was a thing I struggled with, even in high school, right?
Yeah.
And then going to the corporate world, I didn't know how to structurally put a sentence together properly. Still struggle with that to this day. What's some of those things that that can help people that you've seen that people struggle at, and things that people can get better at?
Yeah, it's something that sounds easy, but so many people just don't do it.
Right.
And that's mastering the basics, the fundamentals, really.
Okay.
Are you on time? Are you on time person? Or are you showing up to your job late?
Right. Okay.
You already starting off on a bad foot with your manager, with your coworkers, the employees, whatever the case may be. And then also availability. Are you available when people call you, text you, send you emails, any type of communication form? Or are you somebody that takes 3 hours to return a call, half a day later, a week later to return an email? There's a lot of people within the organization that operate like that too.
Right.
So mastering that responsiveness, I call it, to an email, a text message, a phone call, whatever the case may be, or even walking over to somebody's desk is not hard to do, and letting them know, I don't have the answer right now, but I'm working on it. Give me until Friday to get back to you on that. And letting people know from a communication standpoint, communication is one of the biggest pieces to anything that we do in life, especially within the workforce. And then also being prepared, being organized. How do you structure your day? For me, I like to write stuff down.
Okay.
Use my notes app, my calendar app, or my reminders app a lot for me throughout a work day and in my personal life as well too. So that helps me a lot to be prepared on what assignments that I'm working on for work for the vice president at the time, whether I'm putting together a presentation or I just have a task that I'm working on that he needs to get done by a certain time frame. That way I'm able to prioritize my day to make sure everything is done, not only for him, but for myself. And I have free time to help somebody else out too, that may be going along the way as well too.
Okay.
And then the last thing I would say to that is do what others won't do.
What does that look like?
Take on projects that people don't want to sign up for. Be part of committees that people don't want to sign up for. Be part of networking groups that other people don't want to sign up for or be a part of. That's helped me tremendously throughout my career. I've had tons of mentors at Mercedes-Benz without going through a mentor program. If somebody wants to go out and get it, they're going to find ways to go out and get it.
Right.
So do the things that other people won't do and do those basic needs, and it's going to put you on a higher level than other people that only rely on having a degree and just skate through the system other types of way.
I got a question to ask you, man. Out of the people that you see come, do you get normal blue collar people coming, not college educated people, but coming to Mercedes, man, just a regular Joe guy that just applied for the position? Do you get a lot of those people that come to your company, man?
I wouldn't say a lot of them, but you do get some of them that are transitioning through careers,
Right.
Or someone that may have a spouse that passed away, so now they need a more high paying job, or their husband passed away, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. So you do have a couple of those people too. And I love to tell people what I've learned throughout the organization, provide that educational feedback, teaching, learning, whatever the case may be, because that's what was provided for me along the way, because I didn't know myself, coming from a warehouse environment and then also coming from an athletic background as well too.
Right.
Playing sports my entire life, you don't necessarily have a corporate structure, but you do have a lot of structure that I was able to leverage within the corporate world.
Would you tell a person who don't have a college education, would you recommend for them to go to college and try to get some understanding? Would you say, hey man, if it's something that you think that you're passionate that you can do, go ahead and jump into it? Which one would you aim a person that thinking about saying, hey man, I want to get into let's say they say I want to work for Chase Bank, right? And I want to start to climb a ladder. Do you recommend for that person to get themselves some form of education college wise, or do you just say, hey, what you have can be good enough? What you think?
So it's a tricky question because education is always important,
Right.
But not necessarily in a school aspect.
Okay.
I'm big on education. I'm not big on school at all.
Right.
I was never that good at school, like I mentioned at the beginning. I was never a good test taker. The way teachers and tutors and all that stuff would teach class, it's more of a robotic type way, to where we want everyone in the classroom, starting at the kindergarten level up and through college, to learn the same type of way, to talk the same type of way, to walk the same type of way, to operate all the same. And then when we have someone that doesn't look like that or talk like that or act like that, then we want to call them an outlier or say they need some special type of needs, when really they may be thinking on a whole different type of scale, more of an entrepreneurial type mindset.
Right.
So that's what I focus on, more based on what works for you the most. I'm big on education, not school side. So learning new things, finding new skill sets and all that type of stuff can be learned through other avenues. If you want to go through the banking world, like you said, Chase Bank, then learn what the banking world. We have so many accessories around to us nowadays. You got the internet, you got YouTube channels, you got documentaries. Learn everything that there is to the banking world that you need to know to prepare yourself. And then also go talk to people in that industry as well too, to learn more about it. See if you can be an internship or get on hands-on and do some work there as well too. And not just, it's one thing to go to class, get your degree, and do all this test taking and looking stuff on paper or a computer, and then try to go out to the real world and emulate that. If you don't have that type of skill set or that personality, it's not going to be a good fit for you. Versus getting hands-on learning and education-wise to see if that's exactly what you want to do and integrate your personality into that.
I like this what he's saying, that study about whatever field you want to go into. I'm gonna speak on about my own self, right? I went to engineering and I don't have an engineering degree. I just happened to see somebody reach out to me on LinkedIn, right? And they said, man, you got some of the skills and qualifications we're looking for, right? So I see bachelors and all these other degrees that I have no clue about, but I still want to take the risk. I'm like, oh, at least I'm a fail. At least if I fail, I'm a fail trying, right?
Yeah.
So I took the opportunity, but the hard part was it was way more than I assumed. You know what I'm saying? Like diagrams, learning how to build, math, just writing, reading, all the simple things that I'm gonna have to say it, that we struggle with in our community that we're not educated with. The school I went to didn't educate me on all those type of things. You know what I'm saying? They didn't teach me on just the simple basic things, bro. Like
because it's a lack of resources.
Right. And so I have to like Mark, I have to now research on my own. I have just not to be behind the 8 ball at my job. I got to stay on top, right? Even later on this evening, I got to go and I got to research on the job I'm going to, right? I can't go somewhere not prepared, right? That's something that I think that most people don't realize is being prepared before you get there. right? Because a lot of times we come to a job coming from transition from a blue collar when somebody's giving you directions is totally different than you having to lead and have a leadership position, right?
Right.
It's different just being a person that say, hey, you go do this, do that, right? And then you do it and you come back and say, what's next, right? But versus when you into leadership positions, that require you to have to think outside of the box. Because as Marcus as a boss, right? And I come to him and I say, hey man, every time I look around, what do you think about this? Should I do this? Should I do that? At a point in time, he's gonna say, where's this guy's leadership skills at, right? He's not learning nothing, he's not taking initiative. Have you had people that come to you all the time for a question, bro, and something that they can solve on their own?
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that?
You turn it right back around on them and ask them, what do you think I should do? What do you think the answer is? Or what do you think we should do?
That's good.
And then it creates a mindset for them to think about what would they do in that moment. Even if they don't have the answer, when they come back next time, they're going to know, all right, he's going to ask me X, Y, Z. And they're going to start preparing stuff more, whether it's in their mind or have a solution to go along with the problem that they're bringing along with it as well too. So you have to drive people to think. And then also when you are leading teams, you have to understand every single person does not learn the same type of way. Every single person has different personalities. So you have to cater to each and every person. I led a team of 9 people a couple of years ago, and I had to treat all 9 people differently.
Right.
One person may be a rah-rah person because he played football.
Right.
Another person needs to be pushed a little bit more and have a little bit fluff thrown at them.
I like that.
So you have to know your people and get to learn them, not only from a work aspect, but from a personal aspect. A lot of people, how they act and how they're motivated comes from a lot of what happened in their personal life. I know that happened for me as well too, and that's what created a lot of my work ethic and my drive and determination at the end of the day. So finding out what drives and motivates people will take you a long way as well too.
I'm gonna hit you with something totally different, bro. Dress to success, right? Dress for success. I know that's one of your big things, man. Is that important coming into the corporate world? How you hold yourself up, or with the image of an individual? Do you think that's important coming into that?
Absolutely. So I work in sales and marketing right now, but I tell everybody Mercedes-Benz, every single person is part of sales and marketing. Every single day you are selling yourself to somebody. Every single day you are marketing yourself to somebody. Even though we may not like it, be like, hey, how come we can't just be ourselves? Or I can't just wear some sweatpants and a hoodie every single day to the office. You have to look the part. You have to dress the part because people look with their eyes, just like we taste with our eyes first when we're eating meals and all that type of stuff. It's the same way in the workforce too. People are, I hate to say it, judging other people based on what they're wearing, based on how they look. Do you look like a homeless person, just not shave your face at all and don't care about your appearance? Are you wearing baggy clothes, saggy clothes, hoodies and all that type of stuff every single day to the office? Or are you wearing something that's more form-fitting? Or it doesn't even have to be a suit. We're wearing suits right now. But if you're in that type of environment to where you can wear a polo shirt, do you leave it hanging out or do you tuck it in? Like all this little small stuff plays a big part on how you're seen on an every single basis. And do you want to be a person that says, I really like the way Marcus dresses. He always looks nice. He always looks sharp. He always looks slick. Or do you want to be a person that they talk about and say, we may have to talk to him before going to this meeting with these dealerships and make sure he's dressed the appropriate way.
Right.
What category do you want to fall into?
I like that. I had a gentleman named Larry Muse, man. He used to always, he still to this day wears suits, man. And that's part of his character, man, because he worked in the corporate world. And he used to always tell me, hey, man, the way people see you is the way people treat you. That's unfortunately that's the truth behind it, And the reason why we even wore suits because we're talking about dealing with jump into the corporate world, right? What does that look like? That you gotta look like you up to par. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be one of the most educated, smartest people, but a person first see you and they see something that doesn't look representable, whatever, or look up to the par. They're gonna treat you that way. I mean, it's just the way it is. So during your time, man, and being at Mercedes, is anything that you felt like that you had to compromise or that your faith, do you feel like you can be yourself and have your faith in the corporate world? That's a better way I want to say it. Can you have your faith the way you believe and function in the corporate world in today's time?
Function, yes. Be myself 100%.
You can't.
I would say no.
You say no?
I would say no to that. just because you can't, you got to do work at the end of the
Right, I
day.
understand.
So I can't sit there and hold Bible study throughout the day. Yes, me and one of our other friends, Mandre, we've done Bible studies at lunchtime
Right,
at the office as well too, to where we book out a conference room and whoever wants to come will come, and we will study the word during lunchtime. But we're not taking off from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock to go into a room to study the word and all that type of stuff. But as well too, praying for people at work, praying for yourself. Uh, when I get breakfast, you see so many people that are believers that sit down, but there's other people around, so get a little nervous, so they
right,
just start eating. But at the house, you sitting there praying before you eat.
right,
You should be able to do that in the workplace. And I've become more bold over the years, and the more comfortable and the more confidence I got
right,
within the workforce to be able to implement my at-home lifestyle into the workforce and not be afraid of it. Now, you have a lot of other different agendas going on nowadays, like the LGBTQ.
right,
We used to do summits like that every single year at Mercedes-Benz. I've never been to one of them. So
right.
I would just work from home that day or just not attend the event and let my manager know. I'm not going to have anything forced on me that I don't have belief in with my
Right.
morals and values.
I like that because a lot of times, man, when people want to get into the corporate world, they want to come in with their faith on their jacket and just be reckless with it, right? There's a place and time for everything. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you have to neglect what you believe, right? But it's the same token, man. In the corporate world, you can't be sitting in a lunchroom like Marcus saying for 5 hours thinking that this is time to be doing ministry, right? You getting paid to work, right? You getting paid to do a job. So on your spare time, if an individual asking you or saying, hey, like when I go to work, man, if somebody say, hey, can you pray for me? Or I got an issue, right? I might take some time out. But I'm not about to sit there and have a whole conversation on a company dime talking to this individual, right? Because let it be known that's stealing money at the point in time, right? Because if I'm getting paid to do a job and I'm talking to somebody for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes on the clock about how they need to get their life together, that's stealing money. Unless they're talking about committing suicide, then I may say, hey, let me punch out. You know what I'm saying? Let me talk to this individual. So I like the way Marcus keeps that equal, right? Because if a company respects you to be able to share your belief system, I think you should be able to respect that. Don't steal in time from them. You know what I'm saying? So I like that you're able to be who you are. At my job, I'm able to be who I am. Right? There's multiple groups. There's the LGBTQ. There's the Black Caucus. There's the well, we got so many things in my job that people that they hold. I don't disrespect any of those people. You know what I'm saying? I treat everybody fair and equal, right? I don't have to agree with you, but I don't have to treat you like you nothing, right?
Exactly.
Because you have your just because you have your opinion, I don't agree with, don't mean I got to be a person that treats you disrespectful. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was going to say next. I shouldn't have to walk around the workplace and tell everybody I'm a Christian. Hey, I'm a Christian
Right,
over here.
right,
How I treat you on an everyday basis should emulate me being a Christian.
right.
How I interact with you, how I talk with you, how I respond to your emails, how I'm able to help you on a project that we may be working on should emulate Christ at the end of the day and not necessarily saying, you know, I'm a Christian, right?
Right.
You know, I'm a Christian, right? I shouldn't have to walk around saying all that.
Right. Man, being in a upper position for somebody who's getting ready to apply for that and they looking and they have a resume, they don't know how to set their resume up, right? To gear it toward changing fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I came from being a mechanic, right? I took a couple basic courses in um, whatever your job field is, right? I took just a couple basic courses just to kind of get the understanding. How would you want that person to tailor their resume? Should they tailor it toward what they've been doing their whole life, or should they tailor it toward what that job details and where they might have some strong attributes in that area, if I may say?
We'll still list the jobs that you did and
Right,
don't lie on your resume or anything like that, just to cater towards a new job or career that you may be going into.
right,
But leverage what you're good at in that role that's going to be implemented in the new role that you're going for. So,
okay,
what did you do as a mechanic
right,
that's going to be able to operate within the corporate world
mm,
within those same type of ways? You can leverage the time management. You can leverage being prepared or availability. A lot of the stuff I talked about at the beginning, being on time and all that type of stuff as well too, or hitting deadlines as well.
mm.
It may be looking in a different aspect, but it still goes along the same realm.
I like that. I want to thank Marcus for coming today. Mark, you got anything else you want to share about what it is to enter the corporate world, man? Anything that you feel that's something that we might have missed, man, to help people out that's out there that's looking to transition into the corporate world and get their feet wet in it and become a winner at this, you know?
I would just say for people that are looking to grow within the corporate world or quote unquote move up the corporate ladder, as we call it, have that focus, have that drive, have that determination at the end of the day. And really hard work is going to get you moving up within the organization beyond anything else. Do not just rely on a degree. Yes, having a degree is nice, but if you don't have the work ethic to go along with it, it's not going to do you any good. I still don't have my degree at this moment right now, and I've surpassed many, many other people that have 1 degree, 2 degrees, master degrees, and everything else that don't apply the same type of work ethic or willing to do what they need to do in order to move up in the organization. So master the basics, like I said at the very beginning, and count on those fundamentals, and it'll drive you through.
Did you read, before we leave, man, did you read books? What did you do to prepare yourself, not having some form of college background? What did you do to prepare yourself to be ready for that job, man? Like some people read books. Like my wife always say, you need to go back and you need to get grammar books, right, to be able to form an email sentence proper, right? Because my structural, just man, listen, you can't write an email like you talk. Okay, that's I have seen people write emails and people look at them and judge them just by their email, right? Marcus, I'm gonna ask you a question. I wrote an email like I'm coming from straight from the mechanic world, the streets. I said, hey man, what you think about doing? I'm just giving you something out right now, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me on the way I said it, but when you read it, how do you view that person when you read an email that's like fragmented, broken sentences, no periods? It's like it just run on. How you deal with that?
For me personally, I take it a little bit different. I don't judge people on that
You know?
because I've struggled with that
Right.
too in my life. But I also look for ways to better myself from that, knowing that other people will judge another person
That's
from that
good.
way, knowing I don't want one of my employees not learning and progressing through emails or verbiage or communication or whatever the case may be based on my outlook, because knowing I'm just one person, the majority are going to judge them a whole different type of way. So what classes can we get them into? We have a lot of mentors. We
Right.
have mentoring programs. We have communication classes to help with presentations, help with speech, help overcome talking to big crowds and all that type of stuff. So for me, I had a lot of mentors at Mercedes Benz,
Okay.
even before Mercedes Benz, that helped me as well too. I was in a lot of small men's groups at church as well that talked about a lot of different types of skill sets as well. I got a spiritual mentor, I got a life coach mentor, and I got a financial mentor, and they all come at me with different ways as well too. But also just having a mindset that's a sponge to soak everything in and learning from other people. I always look at what other people do because I'm naturally an introvert.
Right.
So I'm an observer. So I will observe what another person is doing, and I'll take bits and pieces from what other people do, stuff that I like that I see, and then stuff that I don't like. I'm like, all right, I want to remove that outside of myself. Or even when I get feedback on myself, I'm a very quick learner, so I can remove something that may not be seen in a good light to move on and make it look better in the long run as well too. But having those people around you to help make yourself better from a learning aspect, from an educational aspect as well too, because we should be evolving and growing every single year. The funniest thing tickles me all the time. I'm 14 years into my career,
Right.
and when I was in collections at entry level positions, when I was still 21, 22, I'll get people now that are still with the organization that be like, "You've changed." I'm like, "Yeah, I have."
Right.
I hope I've changed at 34 years old
Right.
versus how I acted at 20, 21, and 22 with the organization. Otherwise, if I haven't changed, that's a bigger issue if I'm still acting the same way. But a lot of those same people that say you've changed are still in entry level positions that have just never had the mindset to want to do more, to want to move up and live off that comfortability, to where I'm trying to stretch myself each and every week, each and every day to learn something new, and also go with that in your comfort zone too. Expect the unexpected and get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I like that, man, because I'm always, you know what? If you ask God to place you in something, man, just know it's going to be an uncomfortable level, right? God always want to pull and want you to grow. He don't want you to be the same. For me, I'm getting stretched right now, just being in environments, doing meetings. people leaning and looking at me to have answers, right? All those things that I'm just used to just somebody saying, hey, go do this and I'll get it done, right? Now, I'm not the person that has to go and make the call, right? Or have to figure the problem out, right? But it comes, I have to say, it comes with money. You know, the more you grow, the more that you challenge yourself, it also comes with increasement. So you want to let people know that, hey, man, it comes with growth and money in the process of that. So once again, I want to thank Marcus for coming over today, sharing a lot of his thoughts behind the corporate world. You know, I only been in the corporate world for a good year, so Marcus has been there for 14 years. So this was an opportunity I was able to pull from him. And he's, you know, listen, I'm older than Marcus, but I'm never too young to sit and ask somebody and be mentored in that area to where I struggle from, right? Because I brought him over to give me some type of good advice on how to transition, right? You have to have people around you that can help you grow. Listen, you can't just have these same deadbeat people around you that's sucking from you, right? You got a lot of people that suck from you and even get mad because you choose to grow. You know, Marcus may have people not liking him at his company because he chooses to move up in the departments, right? So people might say, well, he think he's better than us because he moved up. It has nothing to do with that. It has that you want to do better for your family and you want to challenge. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to Elite Men Podcast. You got something to share before we go off air, man?
No, I'm good.
I want to thank you guys for for tuning in to Elite Men Podcast. Please like and subscribe. Please comment. Let us know if any of these things help you. If they didn't help you, please give us some feedback. We love to hear from you. You can reach us at Elite Men Podcast 23 at Gmail. Feel free to reach out. Thank you for tuning in.